Last lesson you would have looked at gradient intercept form of a line. That's in the form y equal mx plus b, where m is the gradient and b is the y-intercept. And it's a very, very useful form because you can quickly read off, okay, what's the gradient, what's the y-intercept, just by looking at the rule. Now there's a second form of a straight line that's very commonly used, and it's called a general form of a line. Okay, so general form of a line is kind of a neat form. It puts everything on one side of the equation equal to 0. So it brings all the terms over one side. By default, we make the coefficient of x positive. Okay, so that kind of tells you, one way of thinking about it is it tells you which side of the equation you're moving all the terms to. But the key thing is we make sure that the coefficient of the x term is positive. We also note that we write the x term first, then the y term, then the constant equal to 0. Okay, there's a couple more conditions we need to talk about. A, B, and C must be integers and not fractions. So if there's any fractions, you need to multiply by the denominator to remove the fraction. And also A, B, and C shouldn't have a common factor. Okay, so we'll see this below. So when an equation is given in general form, A, B, and C must be integers with no common factors. So this is not general form because there's a divide 2, so you would multiply through by 2 to change that to general form. This one here is not in general form because 2, 4, 6 have a common factor of 2, so therefore you can divide through by 2, and that's what you would do. So to put that in general form, that would be x plus 2y plus 3 is equal to 0. So to change to general form, remove all fractions by multiplying, move all terms to one side, make sure that the x term is positive and put it x term first, y term, constant term equal to 0. Alright, write each equation in general form. So you can see I've got 3 equations that happen to all be in gradient intercept form, and we're going to put them in general form. So firstly, for this one here, I can see, I always look at the x term, and it's positive coefficient, that's good. I'm going to drag everything over to the right hand side. So 0 is equal to 2x minus y plus 1. Note I put the x term first, then the y term, then the constant. I'm just going to rewrite that so that all the terms that are non-zero are on the left side there. Okay, so I just check no fractions, yep, and I check no common factor. There's no common factor, it's fully simplified. Okay, so that's in general form. Okay, this next one, I look at the x term and I see a negative, so that's kind of guiding me that I should be dragging all the terms over to the left hand side. So moving that over there, that'll be 4x's, and then a plus y, and moving this term over here, there'll be a minus 5 equal to 0. No fractions, no common factor, that's in general form. Okay, next one, this one, first thing I see that there's a fraction. We don't like fractions, so my first thought is let's times through by 4 every single term to remove that fraction. So 4y equals to minus 3x plus, if I times that by 4, that'll be 20. So I've times each term by 4, and now I'm going to drag everything, and because there's a negative coefficient of x there, I'll drag everything over to the left. So 3x plus 4y, and dragging the 20 over, that'll be minus 20 is equal to 0. Just double check any common factor here. No, there's no common factor, so that's fully simplified. Okay, often questions get you to go from general form into gradient intercept form so you can work out the gradient and y-intercept. So let's do that. So let's make, I want to make y the subject here. So I like the fact that's a 2y there, it's almost there. I just need to drag the other terms over and then I'll divide by 2. Okay, so negative 3x plus 7, and then dividing by 2, negative 3 on 2x plus 7 on 2. Okay, so that's in gradient intercept form. And write down the gradient. Well, the gradient will be the coefficient of x, which is negative 3 on 2. And the y, so that's the gradient. And the y-intercept. is b, which is the constant term if it's in gradient intercept form. Okay, alright, what I'd like you to do is complete the connections exercise here, all selected questions. Shouldn't take you too long, I only selected a couple of questions. See you in the next video. Maybe I'll give it about 10 minutes for that. See you in the next video.